Okay, when we're working with a melody bassline situation like this, and even if we have more voices in between, like we'll see later, the top and bottom voices, which is what we're looking at now, the bass and what we would call the soprano later, but for now let's just call it the melody. We really want these to outline the chords, especially in the cadences. So what that means is that the bass line should imply the majority of the cadence. Meaning, if we want this to be an authentic cadence, so it's a 5-1 feel, the best thing to do would be to have this in root position. So we have 5-1. That's an important feature of this kind of counterpoint. You could also do some kind of 7-1 if it made sense with the chord. So this went 7-1. That would make the bass line be very influential over the chord. We don't want this on the fifth of the chord, for example, because that's not going to really push it. We really want those tendencies in the bass line and the melody line for the cadence. Now, this particular case wouldn't work. This E is in the bass line, or is in the chord, but it's also in the melody, and that would make for a gnarly parallel octave situation right there. So we don't want that. So this is 5-1, and that's great. That's going to make for a great, perfect, authentic cadence because it's going to be root position 5-1, and having that 5-1 in the bass is important in this style. Same deal with the melody. The melody we generally want to be, well, the melody is very influential over the way we hear the harmony. So if we want this to feel like 5-1, we want something with a tendency to be happening here. So that 7 is great. This could also be a 5-1 situation, although we wouldn't want it for the parallelism there, but 5, what else could it be? So we have a 5 chord in this key is C, E, G, or B flat. That would be allowed now too. So E puts us on the leading tone and that goes up. That works. C is going to make us the 5-1. That's going to work well. That's also a tendency tone. C, E, G works less strongly here because it doesn't really influence the chord a ton, because that's just going to make a 5th with the bass line. C, G, so it's just going to feel like a 5th. It's not going to really give us any kind of real pull towards that cadence. And the B flat is going to make for a leap of a 4th, and that's not a real strong tendency either. So we want to make sure we have those tendency moments leading into the bass line, especially when we only have 2 voices. When we have more voices, you can get away with a little bit more because you can put those tendencies in the other voices. But when you only have 2 like this, you want those to really push the cadence forward. Cool. So that's why we're talking about cadences right now. In the case where we only have 2 voices, put those tendency tones in the cadence, both in the second to last chord and the last chord, to really make it feel like a cadence.